I don't believe any of those items are going to get us into that island. In that case, let's go check out the Isle of the Beast.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Because I do not want to read out the Isle of the Sacred Mountain yet, but I might be forced to.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
There is nothing about this isle in the manual, other than the author of the manual couldn't get very far into the island, and I think it's going to be the same for us.
The water seems tranquil at the moment, but a dimpling pattern on the surface indicates a strong undertow.
Yep, we're not going swimming, ever.
Alexander is standing at the edge of the sea on a heavily forested island. As far as the eyes can see, tall trees spread out their branches as though straining to link arms, their tops forming a canopy above. A path leads north through the forest. Nearby, the stump of a fallen tree still spreads its roots to the sea.
Indeed.
If the tree stump is hiding anything, it's only local fauna. There's no need to disturb some creature's nest. Tall, narrow trees abound on each side of the path. Alexander. This heavily forested isle is dotted with rough granite rocks. Alexander has no need to. The trees have small, sparse branches on their lower trunks. They don't lend themselves to easy climbing. The trees have... The denseness of the forest makes it inadvisable to stray from the path.
Let's go north. And just like that, I think I'm trapped.
A rabbit hops about rather fearlessly. It's probably never even seen a human.
Can I talk to it?
Alexander isn't quite lonely enough to talk to a rabbit.
Ah!
Ouch! That water is hot.
I meant to look at it, not actually touch it.
A pond lies across the path. The water boils as if over some magical flame. An old abandoned hunter's lamp is hanging on one of the trees. Alexander wonders who might have hunted in these dense woods. The forest is dotted with clumps of wild mushrooms.
Can I have one?
Alexander, not being an expert on poisonous mushrooms, decides not to take a chance on tasting the local variety. Alexander is traveling on a path through a dense forest. The woods on either side of the path are teeming with wildlife. Blocking his progress north is a pond that boils with a magical intensity.
Is that the correct spelling of teeming? I would use double E. So I don't know if other variants are acceptable in other parts of the world or not.
Tall, narrow trees abound on each side of the path. Alexander, this heavily...
I don't think I can proceed here.
Tall...
That lamp though, how do you know that's a hunter's lamp as opposed to, say, a genie's lamp? We might have to go to the mountain.
Alexander decides to brave the boiling pond. And soon realizes a deep sympathy for soup vegetables as he learns the true meaning of being in a stew.
Tickets. Oh. Next.
And that's the last thing he did.
It looks like Alexander's in a bit of a stew.
I think we have to go to the Isle of the Sacred Mountain. Unless I've missed something at the Isle of the Crown, I don't believe there's anywhere else to go. Oh, that, what kind of creature is that? Deer?
A little fawn is feeding on a grassy hillock near the sea.
Can I pat the fawn?
Alexander resists the temptation to pet the fawn, thinking he might frighten it.
I mean, you're not wrong, but that makes me sad nevertheless.
Alexander.
I want to take another look at this tree hole or whatever this hole is in the tree, see if there's anything here.
Alexander examines.
I'm certain something's going to show up there later.
A nightingale perches on a high branch of the tree. She sings the most beautiful song Alexander has ever heard.
Okay, well, we know where to find another nightingale.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
We're on first name terms now. Let's trade in our copper coin.
I have this
The items.
Alexander.
That mechanical nightingale looks intriguing. I believe I'll take it.
Very well. Your coin is well spent.
I'll remember. Thank you.
We've seen that. Can I do something with the nightingale on the nightingale? I can.
Alexander winds the mechanical nightingale and places it on the ground.
Game? Game forced me to click there.
The mechanical nightingale sings a sweet, tinny tune. The real nightingale in the tree cocks her head and listens intently. The nightingale flies to a lower branch and looks at Alexander curiously, as if she were deciding that this human might not be so bad.
We're all terrible.
Alexander winds the mechanical nightingale.
She comes down, but then what?
It plays its pleasant tinny tune. The living nightingale in the tree listens to the tune curiously. The nightingale sings her crystalline song in the boughs of the old tree. The nightingale looks at Alexander curiously, as though waiting for something.
Hello, little nightingale. Of what do you sing?
The nightingale only looks at Alexander curiously and continues to sing.
So you'll talk to the nightingale, but you won't talk to the rabbit at the Isle of the Beast.
The little bird couldn't do anything with something of that shape. Alexander shows the object to the bird, hoping to interest her. The little bird does not appear to be interested in that.
We did get some kind of reaction out of that, though.
Alexander, it seems that the nightingale is no lover of the taste of peppermint. The little bird does not appear. The nightingale seems to have a natural distaste for the rabbit's foot.
Understandable.
The little bird.
Okay, I don't see anything else we can do with it at this time. So we can definitely get its attention. Do I need to hang on to the nightingale? No, it's down here permanently now. Can I walk past it? Actually, can I touch the nightingale?
Although the nightingale seems interested in Alexander, she would never allow him close enough to grab her.
We cannot. Can I walk past it? Yes. Okay, so I think I'll trade the nightingale back.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
And just because I have a memory, I'm going to get the tinderbox. I think I have to go to the Isle of the Mountain at this point.
Would you mind if I traded this in?
Of course, Prince Alex. Please choose something in exchange for the items on the counter.
Alexander looks closely at the items on the counter to make his selection.
Is he the first person who's called us Alex? I think so.
I believe I'll take the tinderbox.
Very good, Prince Alex. Enjoy your tinderbox and bring it back anytime.
Thank you.
If I bring it back after it's been used, will you change the terms of the trade-in? The bookstore. There was nothing interesting at the bookstore other than the dude who was sitting at the table. The court jester or whoever it was.
Oh, it's you. Come on in.
Can I show you this magic map?
How goes it, Alexander?
What else can you tell me?
The inhabitants of the Isle of the Sacred Mountain are the most gorgeous creatures you'll ever see. If you ever get to see them, that is.
We're going there next. What do you make of this?
Would you be at all interested in this?
Nah, what need is a poor dry-docked ferryman for that?
Can we give him anything?
That would serve no...
Would you be...
Nah, what?
Would you be at all in...
Nah, what need is a...
It's a flawless pearl. And you're not interested in it?
The flawless pearl is the largest Alexander's ever seen.
I wonder if the pawn shop proprietor is interested in that.
Well, thanks again for your hospitality.
Yep.
I found this large pearl. Might it be valuable enough to ransom back my family ring?
I have never seen such a perfect pearl. Certainly you can have your ring back.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't sell it. I'm a bit attached to it, I'm afraid.
Of course you are. You would be cold-hearted if you felt any differently. I am happy to see a family heirloom back with its rightful owner.
Now, was that a good call or not? Do we need that pearl elsewhere, perhaps?
Might I trade you this ring again, merchant?
I have nothing of value enough to trade for it except the pearl that you gave me. I would think you would prefer your family ring, but if you wish, I will trade it.
Thank you.
Okay, we can swap between the two.
Might I trade you this pearl again, merchant?
Of course. Here is your family ring.
Thank you for keeping the ring safe for me.
We'll just troll him a bit.
Might I trade you this ring again, merchant?
I have nothing of value.
Thank you.
Okay. Interesting.
The archway is...
Quite solid and unmovable. I'm not sure what we have to do here, if anything. Can I use the map here?
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
We can. And I now need to take a look at this absolute wall of text. It is a unit of text. Not looking forward to it. The Isle of the Sacred Mountain. The Isle of the Sacred Mountain, on first impression, appears to be nothing but a great wall of cliffs rising to the sky with no apparent means of scaling it. The visitor is soon met, however, by a pair of greasers of the Winged Ones race. The Winged Ones are the inhabitants of the Isle of the Sacred Mountain. Towering to a height of 6 to 7 feet, the Winged Ones are by far the most impressive creatures I have ever seen. Each one of them, male and female alike, is surpassingly beautiful. Their bodies are muscled and athletic and gleaming with health. From their broad backs, mighty wings emerge like secondary limbs, strong and webbed, and covered with large white feathers, and when they spread those massive wings, it is as if the sun itself is eclipsed. Two of these creatures, the greasers, meet visitors at the base of the cliffs, and so was I met. Gently, they took my arms and flew me upwards. Has there been a man who has not dreamed of flying? Are we all not Icarus in our heart of hearts? Why is it using Greek mythology? I don't know. That's weird. I thought this was a fictional world, but whatever. Imagine then the thrill of that flight and the glory of the beings who rule the very air around us. But, as the old saw warns, beauty is only skin deep. I was flown to the Winged One City, a strange and haunting place whose architecture combines the two overriding elements of this culture, aviation and the classical. The city seems built to exclude those poor creatures whose loss it is to crawl like insects upon the ground. For each edifice towers into the sky with no connection to the next, or to the ground itself, save by flight. We can only access the city by flying. Thus, completely dependent on the greasers to travel about the city or even leave, the visitor is humbled and loath to do much exploration. This appeared to me to be rather the intention, for the culture of the Winged Ones is a private one. On the Isle of Wonder, I always felt welcome, despite the sometimes gruff nature of the inhabitants. They had a certain simplicity and honesty about them. By contrast, although my reception with the Winged Ones was on the surface extremely polite, the formal words of welcome did not ring true. I sensed in the eyes of that beauteous race a disdain of common humanity, a haughtiness that made them suddenly lose some of their golden perfection in the eyes of this humble observer. Despite this innate sense of superiority, the Winged Ones are valuable members of the kingdom and provide many important skills. Incredibly intelligent, the Winged Ones are master logicians and mathematicians, precise architects and planners. They disdain magic and the daintier arts, being far too logical for such goings-on. Even the palace of the Winged Ones city has a sparseness, a sense of functionality that denotes their contempt for artistic ornamentation. The Winged Ones' culture is an old one, and they make frequent references to the Ancient Ones, their forefathers, whose ruins and great works still abound on the island. The Isle of the Sacred Mountain is ruled by a lord and lady, who exist as monarchs on their own island, but owe allegiance to the common crown. Is that different to the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, or same isle? I imagine it's the same isle. It makes no sense otherwise. The name of the island derives from a lone peak which soars into the clouds beyond the city. There, in a cave, dwells the sacred oracle, the philosophical head of the community. It is said that the oracle is centuries old, ultimately wise, and can read the future, like our magic mirror. Oh, hang on, is that the oracle that we saw in King's Quest III? My immediate thought was, oh, like our magic mirror, and then I remembered King's Quest III. Interesting. She is consulted by the Lord and Lady on every facet of the city's life, and even advises the King and Queen. I, of course, did not meet the Oracle, and even most Winged One citizens regard her as an almost mythological being. The greatest honour any Winged One citizen might hope for in his or her long life is to be granted a meeting with the Oracle, for her cave is a place reserved for only the most worthy souls. Like many lofty ambitions, most of the Winged Ones never achieve this end. I found myself fascinated by the Ancient Ones, for it was the only deep history apparent in the kingdom. From what I managed to learn from the closed-mouthed Winged Ones themselves, and from the more readily available information to be found in the writings and from scholars on the Isle of the Crown, I put together the following picture of this bygone race. I include it among these records of the kingdom, for they are as much a presence in the land as the current inhabitants. I ain't reading all this, not right now. Definitely not going to read those. We're going to need the logic clues to scale the cliff. But let's go to the Isle right now and just take a look, see what we start with, and
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
see if we get any greases, and go from there. I'll come back to the manual as needed.
There appears to be no way past the cliffs. Though roughly hewn, the cliffs do not provide regular handholds for climbing, and they seem otherwise impenetrable.
Undertow?
The ocean appears calm.
Undertow.
There's an ugly flower growing near the base of the cliff.
What does the flower smell like?
Alexander picks the flower and is startled by its hideously strong skunk-like odor. For a moment he can smell nothing else.
We know what to do about that.
Alexander notices an unusually large coal-black feather lying on the beach. Alexander takes the feather. Alexander is carrying an unusually large black feather.
My immediate thought is let's combine that with the ink, but I don't know if we need to do that or not.
There's no reason to use that on the ink bottle.
Not now, anyway. This thing. This thing smells.
Colors of flame burst from the center of the incredibly stinky flower and drip onto its petals. The flower's appearance is as flamboyant as its smell.
Okay, that will get us past the first gnome. Not that I think that's the answer right now, but let me go back here and see what we got.
Alexander. Alexander.
Old Tom Troll, smell your smell. Do that which you do so well.
I'm guessing we're going to need the nightingale again.
Alexander holds the flower of stench out to the gnome with the jumbo nose.
Tom Troll I am, that's all I'll be. My nose knows all on land and sea. A flower of stench has washed ashore. A flower 'tis all, and nothing more.
You sound like me, dude.
Listen, hark you, Grovelor. Do your duty as you swore. With your ears, please tell us more.
If I had the nightingale, I reckon I can get past you. Let's see what he says. Can't talk to him.
An odd-looking gnome stands before Alexander. He has incredibly huge ears.
My ears can't miss that strong heartbeat. A man it is, a man we greet.
Those ears are hideous.
A man, so say our ears. We shall send him to his beer.
Okay, I've just had another thought. Can I use the ink bottle on myself?
Alexander decides to open the empty ink bottle.
It's stuck. It's... Whoa!
Yeah.
The ink bottle isn't empty at all. It's full of invisible ink. Not very strong, but not bad.
Alexander doesn't want to waste his invisible ink. A thing like that might come in handy.
Such as making ourselves invisible to someone who's looking at us. Okay. Smell, sight, touch, sound is nightingale. What's the fifth sense? Taste. Okay, I think we can get past this.
Alexander.
Let's go back here. I'm going to get the nightingale back.
Alexander.
So Shamir might have done some work on the Isle of the Sacred Mountain as well, because there were no greeters there to meet us. The manual author sort of described that it was a common thing, but it hasn't happened.
Good.
Okay, sir, I've changed my mind. You can have this back. It's unused, I swear.
Would you mind...
Of course.
Alexander.
That
Let's grab that.
Very.
Thank you.
It's either going to be this or the flute. But the thing is, the flute is a musical instrument. It is something that a man would play. Or a human would play, I should say. Whereas a nightingale, a mechanical nightingale, would make a nightingale noise, like an animal. So, I think the nightingale is the answer.
Alex.
Okay, can I get past you, Loss?
Alexander hears someone.
I've his scars. Old Tom Troll.
There's another break in the recording there because there were fireworks outside. Right, so let's give this a go.
Alexander.
We know this will pass the smell test.
Listen, hark you, Groganor, do your duty as you swore. With your ears, please tell us more.
That dude looks hideous. I want to say he doesn't even look human, but he's a gnome, but even so.
Alexander winds the tin nightingale and plays it for the gnome with the monumental ears.
I can't see his face on the portrait. Really?
A nose is not a way to spy. My ears cannot be told a lie. A nightingale is all there be. No man is near, and so say me.
His ears are larger than his head. That's disgusting.
Taste, Grump, that we might know whether friend or whether foe.
Ugh. Not even once. Alright, so well, we have to let him lick us, but I suspect the peppermint is the answer here.
My tongue betrays this one so sly. A man it is, I tell no lie. A man, so say our tongue. To the realm of the dead we send this one.
The gnome.
Did we get the same message about consensus? I didn't test the ears, but I assume this is going to be the same. Hurry up and drown, please. Yeah, this is the realm of the dead.
Tickets. Oh. Next.
They just identified it.
Guess those gnomes couldn't reach a...
We get the same message regardless of which gnome hoses us. Do you like mint, sir?
Alexander holds the mint out for the gnome with the gigantic mouth.
Grump knows a tasty treat. It matters not what others bleat. No danger is this one so sweet. Trilly dilly, use your hands. Is it beast or is it man?
Thinking rabbit's foot?
A gnome with very large hands stands in front of Alexander.
Where do you even get gloves that large? Just see what he says, then use the rabbit's foot.
My hands know what the rest do not. A man is standing on this spot.
A man, so say our hands. We act at the wizard's command.
Yep, Shamir and Alhazred have been here and are doing their work. More confirmation. Rabbit's foot.
Alexander holds the rabbit foot out for the gnome with the huge hands.
Be all you mad? What aileth thee? A bunny can't trill merrily. A hare does not at all taste sweet. A rabbit here is all we greet.
But this rabbit smells.
Old Bill Batter, never fatter. Vision can resolve this matter. Look you now and end this chatter.
He's going to open his eyes and hose us immediately.
A gnome with gigantic eyes is standing before Alexander.
Yeah, the answer here is clearly the invisible ink.
Of all the senses, eyes are best. A man, I say, and hang the rest. A man, so say our eyes. A man he be, a man he dies.
Okay, let's use the ink.
Alexander pours the contents of the empty-looking ink bottle over himself.
By all that's beauteous, fair, and sightly, 4 morons do I sleep with nightly. There's nothing there at all, I say. Enough of this. Let's now away.
We have defeated the welcoming committee.
Alexander did it. He's fooled the guards.
For how long, though? If they come back, we are instantly done. I assume the ink bottle is gone. We've got no more. Hopefully we didn't need to use that elsewhere. Okay, can I go east? Yes. I can go north up there. That looks terrifying. Let's go east first. Bees, books, and spiders.
The tail end of this island is a riotous scramble of books, sand, and a spider's web.
Wow. Hiya, gorgeous. Oh, what a luscious-looking hunk of flesh you are.
Thank you, I guess. Who are you?
How charming of you to pretend not to know. I'm Black Widow, of course. The femme fatale of all femme fatales. Know what I mean? You know, I was just thinking it was time I found my 50th, another husband. It would be quite a horror, an honor to have me as a bride. Just look at my beautiful weaving. It's so light, so delicate. You'll never want to leave my little nest.
It is a lovely web, but my heart is elsewhere, I'm afraid.
Oh, drat! The loss is yours. I'm sure you'll change your mind once you consider the advantages.
Yeah, no thank you. If you're a redback spider...
A black widow is sitting in her
No,
web.
nice.
She has long legs and an hourglass on her belly. She gives Alexander a knowing look.
Let's just say that redbacks have a very interesting mating preference. Don't look it up if you don't want to sleep tonight.
An intricately detailed spider's web has been spun between a pile of books and a small tree.
That scrap of paper blew into my web from those books over there. The wind just thinks it can deposit anything here.
Can I have it?
Have you changed your mind? My offer of dead wedlock is still open.
Alexander reaches out to grab the scrap of parchment.
After my goods, are you? What a greedy little man you are.
Alexander feels the sharp prick of the Black Widow's teeth. Then, a strange burning sensation.
Did I save? That music.
That's what you get for preferring that old scrap of paper to me.
Tickets. Oh. Next.
Why do you think they call her a widow?
Indeed. I'm not sure why it's being cut off. Maybe the game speed is causing that. How do I get that piece of paper?
Oh, so there you are, handsome. What can I do for you now?
A black widow is sitting.
Can't save there.
Alexander.
I imagine if I touch it...
That's...
Alexander.
Okay, I did not mean to do that. Not mean to skip that.
Alexander investigates the intricate spider's web in the corner. The spider who lives there is not amused. Alexander feels the tiny pinprick of the spider's bite and the slow burning of her poison.
Slow. We die very quickly. Okay. Not immediately sure what to do here.
There's no sense in using that on the parchment. Alexander offers the item to the Black Widow.
No, no, thank you, you sweet man. Like a good little wife, I have no interest in anything except my cozy little web. And you.
Oh boy, I'm not touching that one.
Alexander offers...
No, no.
There's no... Alexander...
No.
Alexander wouldn't want that to get caught in the spiderweb. A thread is hanging from the otherwise tightly woven web.
Oh dear.
Hey, don't touch that thread!
Alexander snatches the scrap of parchment, curious to see what's written on it. The wind blows the scrap of paper from Alexander's hand, but he remembers what it said well enough.
A puzzle solution, perhaps. It's not something that goes into our inventory, but I think that's important.
So...
Okay, the thread has been fixed. Alright, what else do we have here? Bunch of bees.
The tail end of...
Trying to look at one of the bees. Just one.
The tail...
Yeah, come on.
The tail... Little bees buzz around the books as though the pages were laden with the sweetest pollen. Maybe they're spelling bees.
That's kind of what I was thinking as well.
Piles of stacked books, looking ready to topple at any moment, have been arranged haphazardly on the sandy ground. Piles of... Pile...
The way Alexander is moving around to look at each pile is freaking me out a bit.
Hey, hands off the goods there, son.
Oh, sorry.
Can I talk to you?
Hello? Is anyone there in the books?
No, there's no one here.
Hello?
No,
Would you like a book?
There's no reason to use that on a pile of books.
Okay. Maybe there's something else I can do here later?
Hello?
no, hey.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh.
None of the books are jumping out at me except this one, perhaps.
The tail end of the tail...
And that's nothing.
Piles... The tail...
I thought that maybe by attacking this pile, I could maybe dislodge some of the books, but no.
Piles of...
Alright. Let's move on. We've got something we could maybe do at the end of the island with the books, but I'm not sure what. What have we here?
The fertile swamp is dense with moss-covered trees. The fallen log has a good-sized knot or bump.
Now, I see the face there, I see the face here. I remember that.
A stick is stuck in the middle of the swamp.
Maybe those?
Milkweed thrives near the mucky swamp. Small bottles filled with milk grow on it like fruit.
Like actual milk bottles?
Alexander takes a bottle of milk from the milkweed bush. Apparently, the dogwood tree doesn't like Alexander standing that close.
Can I pat the dog?
Alexander considers climbing the tree and quickly changes his mind.
What about you?
The bump on the log does not look particularly interesting to Alexander. That bump on the log does not look particularly conversational to Alexander.
There's a face there. I can see it.
A tough old log lies to the left of the path. The Isle of Wonder swamp oozes with muck, moss, and mud. Crickets and frogs sing an endless serenade, and the green filtered light adds to the sense of dampness here. A cluster of cattails flourishes near the muck of the swamp. Alexander decides to pet the soft-looking cattails.
I can pat the cat.
Zounds, what a racket! So much for stirring up those cattails.
I finally found something I could pat, and I immediately regret it. That was absolutely terrifying.
A mushy swamp lies just off the path. It doesn't look like very good swimming.
We have to try swimming in it, very clearly.
The swampy bog sinks beneath Alexander's weight. He feels himself being sucked slowly but firmly down into the muck. As the marshy water fills Alexander's mouth, he thinks that although he'd always wanted to try a mud bath, this is hardly what he had in mind.
Tickets. Oh. Next.
Do you ever get that sinking feeling?
I suspect if I slow the game down... You know what? I'll try that very quickly. Let me just slow it back down to roughly what it was. 49 out of 231 points. Not bad. We're about 1/5 of the way through.
As the marshy...
Did we get the full line?
Tickets. Oh.
No.
Next.
Do you ever get...
That seems like a bug. Alright. Can I talk to the dog?
My dear tree, is it true that your bark is worse than your bite? My dear...
Alright, enough of that.
A large tree stretches knotted limbs out over the swamp. Part of the tree's trunk is shaped like the face of a dog. Why, it must be a dogwood tree. The fertile swamp is dense with moss-covered trees. A mushy swamp lies... A stick is stuck in the middle of the swamp. Alexander sees no point in trying to talk to that stick in the swamp.
A stick in the mud.
The glass bottle is full of milk. How strange for a plant to produce not only milk, but a container to go with it.
Climate activists hate it.
Why would Alexander want to throw that at the stick in the swamp?
Can I get that thing's attention somehow?
Why would
Don't know. Yeah, I remember this screen.
Unless Alexander is mistaken, those plants must be baby's tears. Vines of sweet ripening tomatoes climb up little wooden posts. Clinging vines climb the garden wall. Is that lettuce growing in the garden? It looks a little chilled. Why, it must be iceberg lettuce.
Yeah, I kind of figured that out already, game.
Alexander is standing in a delectable garden. Nestled in the bright green grass are colorful plants growing in orderly clusters. Some of their curious faces peer up at Alexander from the sides of the path. The garden ends at a speckled gate. A curiously speckled gate marks one end of the garden.
I don't believe we're getting through there right now.
The wallflowers look terribly shy. Alexander is a colorful array of snapdragons stand guard to one side of the path. To the right of the path is a little coffee table. An elegant padded chair provides a cushy seat from which to enjoy the lively garden. There appears to be a hole in the garden wall. Through the hole in the wall, Alexander sees a land that resembles a giant chessboard. Wow, it really is a hole in the wall. Zounds, those wallflowers sure are shy, and the snapdragons are awfully protective of them. Alexander can't even get close to the wallflowers without causing quite a stir.
From memory, we need to grab that hole in the wall.
Alexander decides to pick up the hole in the wall. A hole in the wall could be a very useful thing. Alexander startled the poor thing. It's run off to hide behind the wallflowers.
And the wallflowers are going to protect it.
The wallflowers, overcome with shyness at Alexander's approach, cluster together and cover the hole in the wall. Alexander can't get it.
If I leave and come back... I think that's okay. Can I sit down?
Alexander would love to sit a spell, but he's a tad busy at the moment.
I cannot sit down.
Alexander picks a head of iceberg lettuce.
That thing looks rotten, or unhappy.
Ye gads! Is that cold?
Those tomatoes are not quite ripe yet, and Alexander shouldn't pull them off the vine.
What about this one?
Hey, what do you think you're doing there? Get your hands off me! Hey!
Alexander picks up rotten tomato and puts him away. One never knows when one will need a rotten tomato. Alexander is carrying a full head of a queer-looking lettuce made of ice. The lettuce is rapidly melting.
That might get us past the boiling pond at the Isle of the Beast.
The old rotten tomato gives Alexander a mean look and grumbles sourly.
Can I talk to it in here?
You're ugly and you smell bad! Yeah! Put me down before I juice all over you!
Can't say that.
You're ugly and... What do you want from me? A recitation or something? Leave me alone! Yeah! What do you want from me? I got a lawyer, you know! Yeah! There's kidnapping laws in this here kingdom! What do you want from... You're ugly! You're ugly!
Okay, what are these things?
Alexander doesn't want to pick the baby's tears. They may not be done growing.
Good day, tomato vines.
Good morning.
Good day. Good day.
Good morning.
Good day.
Good
Excuse me, lettuce.
The lettuce just gives Alexander the cold shoulder.
That pun.
Hello. Aren't you a bunch of fine-looking young plants?
Gaga.
Apparently, the baby's tears haven't learned to talk yet.
Hello.
Apparently,
Would you like a bottle?
Alexander gives one of the baby's tears a bottle of milk. The other baby's tears seem to resent Alexander's gift for some reason. One of the babies is sucking happily on a bottle of milk, while the others are spilling copious tears over their lack of the same.
If I had a bottle, maybe I could collect those.
What a grip! The baby is not at all willing to let go of that milk bottle.
It's the most annoying sound in the world, chat. Can I grab another one?
Alexander takes a... Apparently,
It resets. Okay, not sure what to make of that just yet. What about these snapdragons?
a colorful...
Good day, snapdragons.
The snapdragons don't seem inclined to communicate with anyone.
Will they kill me if I get too close?
Those snapdragons don't like Alexander getting so close.
Yeah, we can't get close.
Alexander approaches the snapdragons. Those unfriendly snapdragons don't want Alexander anywhere near them. Alexander is too far away from home to think about taking furniture back with him. Alexander decides to examine the vines on the wall more closely.
Ooh.
Come closer! We like you!
I, appreciate your enthusiasm. But I'm really not interested.
Don't leave us! We like you!
Dang it.
Tickets. Oh. Next.
Just want to be loved by you.
Is that a song reference? If so, I don't recognize it. I thought it was going to say something like we were roped into a relationship. Gate's not locked. I thought that gate would be locked. Wow.
The sky of Chessboard Land is a brilliant shade of blue and has heavy cotton candy clouds. The sky of Alexander is standing at the edge of a strange land with rolling checkered hills. Two chessboard knights stand before the marble entrance, guarding a path which wanders like a ribbon into the velvety hills. A red chess knight stands at the top of the marble steps. A noble white chess knight stands at the top of the marble stairs. The entrance to Chessboard Land consists of a stepped marble bridge with astonished-looking pillars.
I don't know what adjective I'd use to describe those, but astonished is not one of them.
The entrance...
They just look like sort of impossible pillars, if anything.
Checkmate! Only chess pieces allowed in Chessboard Land? That's right. Humans aren't allowed in and never will be. Stay out!
I'm guessing the two queens are beyond. Speaking of...
I must insist, Your Highness. I shall send the lump of coal to the Vizier and the Princess as a present for their wedding, and that's the end of it.
And I suppose you'll leave me with only this stupid spoiled egg to send, Your Highness. I want to impress the new king and queen of the realm as much as you do. As queen of this island, I have every right to that lump of coal.
Who isn't queen of this isle? The lump of coal is in my possession. Therefore, I shall do as I please with it. Besides, there's nothing wrong with that spoiled egg.
The egg, though delightfully spoiled, is not nearly so valuable as the lump of coal, and you know it. Your Highness always got to carry the singing stone. It's not fair that you get the coal, too.
That doesn't count. The singing stone was stolen by that horrid beast.
Here we go.
I should get to keep the coal just because my stone was stolen.
It wasn't your stone. It belonged to the Isle of Wonder treasury. Your Highness always thinks that everything is hers.
Excuse me, my good man, but could you settle an argument for us?
Which of us should get to carry the coal and which the egg? Remember, white is the color of deserving truth and virtue.
Your lips aren't moving anymore.
Quiet, your highness, and let him make up his own mind. I, for one, shall be more proper, and not even mention the fact that red is the color of love.
I'm sorry, your majesties. I'm partial to both red and white, but I'm afraid that I don't know how to solve your problem. One of you will just have to be gracious and allow the other the lump of coal.
What a ridiculously stupid idea.
Quite ludicrous.
He was a lot of help, wasn't he?
Oh, yes. Obviously a man of high intelligence. The lump of coal goes much better with my gown anyway. Black and red are imperial colors.
That's the silliest thing I ever heard. Red does not go with anything, being much too self-conscious. White is the perfect accompaniment to any color.
I am legitimately colorblind, so I'm not going to make any comments on that. What did he leave behind?
The Red Queen has dropped her scarf on the steps.
A red scarf.
Alexander picks up the Red Queen's scarf.
What's got to do with that?
The scarf is made of red silk.
Checkmate. Only that's right.
At least the queens didn't kill us. They're aware of the vizier and the princess getting married, but they don't appear to be aware of us. Or if they are, they think that the welcoming committee maybe took care of that person. How do we get to you?
Would you ladies be at all interested in this?
The wallflowers shyly decline.
Greetings, ladies. How charming you look today.
The wallflowers are too shy to talk to Alexander.
Would you ladies... Would you...
The lettuce I think we can use at the Isle of the Beast to get past that boiling pond.
Alexander doesn't need to do anything to the garden wall.
Would you ladies...
What can I do? The flutes, maybe?
Would you ladies...
Laying them some music? If indeed we know how to play the flute. And these baby's tears, what do I do about that? I can feed them a bottle.
Alexander... The other baby's tears. As much as Alexander might wish to comfort the crying babies, he feels a little awkward about picking them up. He's rather new at this.
Can I throw the tomato at them?
Would you babies be interested in this?
The baby's tears apparently aren't interested in that because they continue to wail at the tops of their lungs. Alexander takes a bottle of milk from the milkweed bush. Apparently the dog would...
Just looking at my notes, we can get the flute and the paintbrush from the pawn shop. Let me try grabbing the flute very quickly.
Alexander...
Maybe something will happen.
Alexander...
Also, can I give this scarf to the nightingale? I've got a feeling that can be used for something later on though, so if this works, I'll load.
Alexander doesn't want... Alexander, the little... Alexander, the little bird just ruffles her feathers at the sight of that large, brightly colored scarf. Alexander...
Nothing. Okay. Let me try the flute.